didn't get to
Hey,
ask
Emily.
Woody, availability today. Is everyone available out of the bullpen, or are some guys? I wondered about Jabot and Montero.
Jabot and Montero, they're probably going to be down today just because they have thrown like 3 out of the last 4 days. They went back to back, so I'm probably going to give him a day. And then, as you guys know, Goody, because of his back, trying to give him an extra day. That's all.
So if we're in a safe situation, would it be Jonathan?
It will depend. Obviously, he's right now thrown on the back end of our bullpen. It will be depend where we at on the lineup and how we feel. It could be either Jonathan could be coming the eighth, depending where we at on the lineup. He can be in the ninth. Same thing with Volquez. So we'll see. We'll have to piece it together.
Okay. For you, seeing what this young bullpen has been able to do, are you getting to the place where you do feel like you've got that formula in place?
You always feel it, right? That you got the formula in place and everything. I think the guys are getting more comfortable, and that's the one thing that I feel very comfortable. I'm happy with them right now. I know that on the road trip, it was a little rough. We weren't throwing enough strikes, and we're putting ourselves in a tough situation. I think, they're getting over the hump right now, and what I'm seeing in the past like 3 or 4 games, or be like 3 games, is that they're attacking the zone more. We did get hit a little bit when we were in Oakland, but that's what I expect. I expect the guys to just get after hitters and then make things happen instead of kind of hoping that something's going to happen or hoping for a swing when we know we're facing a lot of our these teams that they don't chase much. So.
Woody talked a lot about Lance and what he's done from a leadership aspect and then being receptive after being maybe a little bit stubborn in the beginning, but being receptive to what you guys, were telling him, suggestions, all that kind of stuff. Can you just kind of elaborate on how that, evolution has taken place from when he got here until now?
Yeah, I think part of it was like always at the beginning. We didn't know each other. Obviously, I was new to the league, new to the team, new to him as well. It's like building that relationship at the beginning was probably the most important thing. Once we got going, got into the season, he started asking questions, and I started making suggestions to him and kind of seeing some of the things, and that it was a back and forth situation with him. He's a very smart individual when it comes to like pitching and what he's doing and what he wants to do. Very open, even though he can come across that he's not, but he's actually very open to new stuff and that relationship, continuing in the off season as well, and him asking questions about, hey, how can we, what can we do to help with my changeup right now, like what are we trying to do, and different things, and even he's always thinking about getting better, which is just the fun part with working with him. But he's done everything. I mean, he wants to be the best. He works hard. He's open to suggestions. He knows he has a good filter. He knows what works for him, and he's able to apply it.
Perfect. That's good for me. Thank you, Julio.
Thank you.
So, hi, Julio.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
When exactly did you discover that Lance Lynn was not just a grumpy guy?
It's all about just, I guess, like just building that relationship with him. I mean, in the beginning, like anything, I told Emily it was a little awkward at times, just because I was trying to figure him out, and he's always have that look like he's not in a good mood or anything like that. But now, man, it's what I found out with him is he's so competitive, and you guys see it when he's on the mound. He's so competitive. He wants to be good. He wants to win. But he's actually one of probably the easiest guys to talk to when it comes to anything that have to do with his game. He wants to know. He wants information. What he does with it after that, obviously it's up to him. But he likes to hear information. He wants to know because, like I said, he wants to win and he wants to be the best.
On Montero, Woody said last Friday night, I think, that he had shown a sinker to Trout, and that was kind of a new pitch for him.
Yeah.
Is it new, or how would you describe it?
No, I think it's. I wouldn't call it new. He threw it last year a few times, but it's a pitch that he doesn't use as much. He's more of the forcing fastball, changeup. Now he developed a slider. We saw it yesterday. It's becoming a good pitch for him, especially to face some righties. I think it's just a pitch that he feels sometimes when their hitters are on his forcing fastball that he can run in there, and he did. He did it twice against Trout. And I asked him about that. He said, well, last year he got me. So I was trying to give him something different that he hasn't seen, and that's what it was. But I say he's just a pitch that he doesn't use a lot. But, whenever he needs it, he's there.
So is there a pitch right? Has he added something that he's going to use more of this year?
I will say probably the slider. The slider would be the pitch that he made it better. He had one last year. It wasn't a pitch that we were too comfortable with. And then he added a little bit more depth to it. It's at times looks more like a cutter, but it's just something that he can use to when he faces righties. Last year he did really well against the lefties, because of the changeup, and we know how he commands his fastball really well. But it was something that we needed to pay attention. It was more about with the right-handed hitters, and so he worked really hard on it in the off season. And then I was really happy what I saw yesterday from a movement standpoint.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions for Julio? TR.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your take on what's going on with Mike Minor?
Right now, what I see is that Mikey's probably might be a little behind when it comes to his arm conditioning. I think that's what he started to feel. I mean, we saw obviously the other day, he won the first 3 innings. He looked really good. Velo was getting back up again, and and then he hit a wall. I think that's what we're dealing with. I don't see anything major with him. We look into some video about his mechanics and all that. He was a little slow. One of the things that he mentioned to me was he was trying to figure it out and feel what was going on with him from a mechanic standpoint, and he became a little too methodical, too mechanical for me. And I told him that we got to make sure that we stay athletic. We have a better rhythm. Which last outing he did until he hit that that wall in the 4th inning.
And was there something about him? I mean, your other starters don't seem to be dealing with this. Is there something that happened with him as far as the shutdown or in summer camp that veered him off course?
It could have been. How hard it is sometimes when you're at home and trying to stay in shape. He did a great job with that. It's also the accessibility he had with being able to to throw live EPs consistently, what he did early on. There was a period of time where they kind of shut down where he was, and obviously I think that was part of the issue. It didn't help that he couldn't throw those days while the rest of the guys were probably throwing around that time. Then he got back up again right before we reported here for camp. And I think that's what it was. I mean, obviously, Mikey's always the guy that he prepares really well. He knows what he needs to do. It's just I don't think he had the, for a period of time, he had that ability to do what he needed to do because of the shutdown.
So you guys don't think you need to shut him down now? You feel like he needs to pitch through this and build up the stamina? Yes.
I think he's going to be fine. I mean, one of the things we probably will do is just try to kind of, keep a short leash on him. He knows we talked. We had a conversation about it, and it's kind of take the next couple outings more of a build-up and try to get him to where he needs to be.
Okay, John Radigan.
Morning, Julio.
Good morning, John.
So I wonder, I guess the simple question is, are you proud of the way the bullpen has turned it around in this little short sample here?
Yes, very proud, very proud. I know the beginning it was tough. We got some young kids there as well, but they they turn it around. They attacking the zone. Like I say, they're getting over the hump. And that's one of the things that I asked, and I told them, I say, I don't expect you guys to come in and strike everybody out. I mean, that'll be great, but the one thing I do expect is just make sure that you're attacking the zone consistently, and we are the ones that have to put the pressure on the hitters instead of the hitters putting the pressure on us all the time.
The thought going into this season was if a reliever has a bad outing in a short season like this, it could be devastating for his numbers and consequently maybe his psyche.
Mm-hmm.
You had a couple of guys though in Volpez and Chavez who had those bad outings, if you will, and yet they're such veterans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did they provide the example, the leadership example to say, who cares? We're just going to go do this and turn it around next time.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that is good for the young kids to see. It's that when they those guys struggle, they come back out again like they did yesterday, and they did what they did. And it's good for the other guys to see like, hey, everything is gonna be okay. You don't have to panic or try to change things just because of one outing. Just take one day at a time and just make sure you're ready to go every day.
Great, thanks, Julio.
Thank you, John.
I'll take one or two more. Levi.
My question for you about Kobe Allard. He looked fine last year. He'd have, as a young guy, he'd have streaks where things kind of fell apart a little bit, but he battled through. It was pretty good last time, but last night he looked really good. Is there any one thing that you would attribute that success to with him? I know that's oversimplified, but.
No, I think obviously, yes, he threw the ball really well, but one thing that Kobe has is like he's such a confident kid. He believes in himself. He knows what he can do with the ball. This off season, the way he prepared too is part of what happening right now. Like you guys saw that him using that curveball more than he did last year. He's getting more comfortable with that pitch, which that was a pitch that we asked him to work on it a lot in the off season, and he did everything in his power to try to make that pitch better. Still developing, but he's a pitch now that he can use, so he can get hitters off his fastball, off his cutter, and it's just the way he competes. I mean, I wasn't surprised to be honest with what I saw, just because I know what I'm gonna get out of him every time out. He's gonna attack the zone, and either you're gonna hit him or he's gonna get you out. That's kind of like his mentality, and it's good to see that out of a young kid.
Yeah, he seems to me, and I don't know him that well. We see what we can see from here, and talked to him a little bit last year. But when he's on that, he doesn't strike me as a 22-year-old. If that makes any sense, he seems older than that on the mound to me.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yes, that is fair to say. The thing is, like with him, is the same way you see him on the mound, how he carry himself. Even though at times you can see like the game can speed up a little bit because he's very intense. He wants to go all the time. So he's learning how to kind of like slow down sometimes and control the environment. Control the game. One thing I always tell him is, hey, remember you got the ball in your hand all the time, so nothing happens until you throw that ball. So make sure that you stay under control. But overall, I mean, the way he carries himself, not only on the mound, I said, even in the clubhouse, the way he works. I say even he's the veteran teammates. They said, man, one of the comments they made back in spring training said, Kobe prepares like he's been in the big leagues for 10 years. Like he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he needs to do to be ready, and that's very impressive for a 22-year-old kid.